Today's question is heavy. A wife found unused condom in her husband's belongings. She accused him of cheating. Of course, he denied it. She believes he's lying. She's confused because she believes that the husband loves her so much. This man would never tolerate losing her to another man. So how can a man love you and possibly cheat? This is a question that we are answering in today's episode. Welcome to Living Answers, and we are going to dive into it. You know, when you look at this question that this fine lady is asking, you will begin to understand what many people go through when they are in a relationship. Cheating is something that has been there since man began. Since the creation of man, cheating has always been there. So you can understand why this lady accuses the husband of cheating, because she found an unused condom in his belongings. You know, this particular lady told me that he confronted the husband, and the husband said that, oh, my last business trip, this particular condom was given to me by a business partner. They gave it to me saying in case I would need it. But I didn't use it because I didn't need it. Of course, the wife is seeing this as a very beautiful defense, a very beautiful lie, well told. You know, so when you begin to look at this, you will see assumptions versus evidence. So, is this woman correct by accusing the husband of cheating? Finding this condom, is it an evidence to prove that the man is actually cheating? If you ask this from an objective perspective, you will discover that the man is also angry. The man was even raising his voice, saying that the wife did not trust him. You know, the wife is almost becoming a victim. You don't trust me. I just told you what happened, but you don't want to believe me. And the wife is saying, we don't use this in our marriage. Why should this be in your belonging? Obviously, you are cheating. You are betraying me. So if you look at these two sides, and I want us to look at it before anger begins to rise up, I want us to look at it critically. Can it be possible that the man is innocent? Can it be possible that it's his innocence that made him not to throw away this condom? Maybe. Because of his innocence, he felt, okay, I don't need to throw this away. I don't need to hide it. I don't need to. Could it be his innocence that made him not to throw it away? On the other way around, the wife is like saying, this is not innocence at all. He forgot it. It's obvious that he is cheating on me. He simply forgot to remove this. If you look at the two perspectives, both could be correct. But we may not have the full information. But now, let us look at some things that are deeper here. I am going to give us about 3 classes of men that will always cheat if the opportunity calls. If this man belongs to any of this category, then maybe the wife is correct. But if he does not belong to any of this category, maybe the man is innocent. So, let's step into it. There are categories of men that will always cheat if the opportunity calls. Number 1, men that believe that men are naturally polygamous. There are men who believe that men are naturally polygamous. So this is a belief system among some men. So this class of men can love their wife to the bones, provide for them, take care of them, give them everything possible, yet still cheat if the opportunity arises. So the man or the men who believe that men are naturally polygamous, anytime you see this class of men, they love their wife, they provide for them, they kiss them, do everything, take them out, buy things for them, give them everything they want. But if an opportunity to cheat comes, they will cheat because they have convinced themselves that this is how men are supposed to be. Men are, of course, naturally polygamous in nature. So they go about to prove this conviction. So such class of men, there is nothing you can do about it. They will always cheat. The second class of men that will always cheat if the opportunity arises, these are men that believe in this philosophical concept called relativism. What this actually means is that truth is not absolute. Even when you tell them about the Bible or the Quran or whatever, they tell you that truth is not absolute. How can you actually prove that this is wrong or that this is not wrong? So this class of men, they find a way to love their wife. One of the things they tell themselves that if I care for my children, if I give them everything they want, if I pay school fees, if I love my wife, if I'm available, then I can also catch fun. I can also have pleasure outside the way I want it. So this class of men, they believe that cheating is pleasure. This is pleasure that they give themselves. Of course, when you make money, you want to enjoy it. So they believe that cheating is something that is pleasurable. Having different kinds of women is pleasurable. They don't see it as something bad. Now, the third class of men that we always cheat are men who are religious but not spiritual. Men who are religious but not spiritual. What do I mean by that? You will find this among all class of religion. They don't really believe what the book talks about. That's not what they're looking at. Even Christians and Muslims. This is why many pastors find themselves in this web. They do this. They don't care. They tell you God will forgive them. You know, so religion and spirituality are completely different. So men who are religious but not spiritual, they will always cheat. So my dear girl who sent me this question, if your husband belongs to any of these three categories, it could be possible that what you found is evidence. But the truth is that you cannot conclude unless you begin to observe his patterns, ask deeper questions before you can conclude. So finding condom in his belongings may not be an evidence unless there are other things that you are looking at. unless there are other things that you are seeing. But whether it is possible for a man to love you deeply, care for you deeply, provide for you as a man and as a husband, and still cheat, then these three classes of men that I described, they will always do it. But there are a class of men that won't cheat. There are about two classes of men that won't cheat. And that will tell us what these men look like. The first are men who understand that marriage is covenant. There are men who understand that marriage is covenant. So what this means is that when I promise a woman that I want to marry, when I promise her monogamy, when I promise that I will be exclusive, I will love you, I will be available, this is a covenant that I am entering with good intention. I am going to keep it. These people, they are not necessarily Christians. I have seen people who are not even Christians, but they honor covenants. They will never go again. They will never cheat on their partners. So these men that understand that marriage is covenant, they understand that covenant is your ability to bring yourself under some principles and not break them. You have this thing called self-honoring. You honor your words. You honor your promises. This is what is called integrity. So men of integrity, they don't cheat, even when the opportunity calls. So, if a man is a man of integrity that honors covenants, such men do not cheat. There is another class of men that don't cheat. These are men who are spiritual. They are not just men who are religious. They are men who are spiritual. What is the difference? The difference is that people who are spiritual, they understand that every of their action has consequence. Such men, they are not just avoiding cheating because they are afraid of their wives. They are avoiding cheating because they are afraid of the spirit they believe in. And if you even look at our forefathers, you discover that they were so much afraid of their Amadioha. They were afraid of their gods. They believed that their God will deal with them if they break this principle. Likewise, men who fear God, men who believe that God watches over them even in their secret places, even when they have an opportunity, they try everything to keep themselves. It's also both men and women. So partners who believe in covenant and partners who are spiritual, they try to keep their marriage vows. All right, so there is something else I want to point out that is very important, because sometimes when women begin to accuse their men of betrayal, you will see that sometimes the men find a way to kind of now victimize them, kind of, get defensive and all that. So what some men say, or what some people will say when you find a man that is cheating, so they usually tell this woman, hey, maybe you are not good in bed. Maybe you are not giving him, sexual intercourse every day. Maybe you are not saturating him enough. I have heard all kinds of things. Some people say that, okay, if your marriage bed is shaking enough, then your man will not be able to do it. But the truth is that a man that will cheat, a man that belongs to this school of thought that I've mentioned, it doesn't matter if you give it to them every day, they will still do it. Yes, they will still do it. So, giving them sex every day won't stop them from looking outside, as long as they have weak character. So if they have weak character, if they have less integrity or they don't have integrity at all, you will discover that even if you are giving them, sex back to back, they will still go outside if the opportunity calls. So this idea that is always the fault of women, that maybe the woman is not, the wife is not trying, maybe the wife is not giving him everything, maybe the wife is whatever. That may not be a good argument. That may not be a good argument. So a man that will cheat, no matter what the wife does. So this is very important. So the question now is, if you find yourself in a relationship where your man is cheating, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm asking you, if you are there, what are you going to do? If you find yourself in that situation, what are you going to do? People have used different, methods, different strategies, and you can, if you open the social media, you will see that there are some women that the way they handle this is aggression. There was even a woman the other day on the internet that cut off the man's, manhood because of anger. So how will you handle betrayal? The first thing I want to say is that it is completely normal to get angry as a woman if you find out that your husband is cheating. It's completely normal for you to be bitter. It is completely normal for you to feel betrayed, and it doesn't matter the reason that he gives. It's completely normal. Feeling that, hey, you betrayed me. Yes, it's normal. Okay, some people even say, oh, I will never forgive you. Okay, forgiveness is something that is, if you look at it, it's not just that the man say, hey, forgive me. Okay. If he just says, okay, forgive me, is it enough if he has no remorse? If he has not repented, if he's not going to change, saying forgive me, and maybe you refuse to forgive him, are you justified for not forgiving him? Okay, you might be justified, because if you understand that marriage is covenant and someone promised you everything, say, I'm going to be there for you, I will be there exclusively for you, and the man begin to go out, you can say, okay, I am bitter, fine, it's allowed. But the thing is, how can you handle this? What can you do? Let me start from the one I read the other day. The woman was talking about how he handled the husband. The husband was ready to go on a business trip. As she was helping him pack the bag, at the end of the day, she reached out and brought a packet of condom and put it in the husband's bag and said, in case you can use this. The husband was like, what is this? What are you trying to do? The wife was like, okay, I'm not trying to suspect you, but it's better for me that you come back to me healthy without distributing sickness. It's better for me that you protect yourself. You see, this is how this woman was trying to, she believes, okay, some women believe that all men cheat. And this was her own way of saying, even if you are going to cheat, protect yourself so that you don't bring back disease to the family. Would you handle your own this way? Put it in the comment section. Would you handle your partner this way? Would you say, oh, in case you can no longer, you are tempted, use this one and hold yourself? Would you do it that way? So you discover that many men or many women have different ways. Some use aggression, some use even wickedness, some would want to even destroy their partner because of this, even just because of assumption, like this particular lady in question that sent me this question. She wouldn't say for 100% that I am sure this man is cheating, but she has every ground for assumption Because finding a condom in your husband's belonging is a strong ground to have assumption, but it's not an evidence. It's not an evidence, but it's a strong ground for assumption. So how would you handle it? One of the things I can say is that if you are already married, it's important to give your partner benefit of the doubt. It's important to trust your partner. It's very, very important. Because sometimes when you begin to look into his phone or look into her phone, you begin to listen to her messages or her phone calls, you will begin to give yourself unnecessary stress. And this thing can work up and give you high blood pressure. So it's important that you relax, give your partner benefit of the doubt, trust your partner. Yeah, it's possible that you trust someone that is cheating. Yeah, but that trust is not just for your partner, it's for you. You need to protect your own health, protect your own mindset, protect your own mind so that you don't go crazy. Because you discover that, because I know some men that set, your wife is going to the market, you're checking time. Yeah, you just spent 2 hours, you must have gone to see your boyfriend, and before you know it, because of assumption, fights will start. Something that is not even in the mind of that woman, you might begin to plant that seed. Before you know it, she will begin to do it. Likewise, and vice versa. Maybe your man is not even thinking about this. You begin to, check his phones. You begin to observe his movement. You begin to make all kinds of assumptions. Begin to criticize him. Before you know it, you begin to plant seed that is not necessarily there. So the first thing I will tell you is learn to trust your partner. Learn to trust your partner. Yeah. So if you trust your partner and if you begin to sense that there are some patterns that your husband or your wife is demonstrating that shows that maybe this person is cheating, yeah, begin to talk about it. Be bold to talk about it. Be bold to ask questions. These are the best that you can do. Then if, let's say you even catch the man or catch the woman red-handed, the worst part is that men always, sometimes, especially the people I mentioned that say that this is men, this is we always do this. Every man is cheating. It's not actually true. Every man are not cheating. They are men of integrity. They are men that keep covenant. They are men who are spiritual. And this is who you need to be as a man. If you promise your partner monogamy, if you said, I am going to be there for you, keep your word. Keep your word. Be a kind of man that your children will be proud of. Be a kind of man that when your children grew, they want to say, my father is my mentor, my father is my role model. Be a kind of man that your children will be proud of. Don't be a kind of man that is so selfish that the only thing you're thinking about is your pleasure. Be a kind of man that will keep your word. This is very, very important. But if you are a woman and you find out that the person you have married is not keeping his word, what are you going to do? Don't be aggressive like many other women will do, like, poisoning him. That is something very terrible. You are going to live the rest of your life to regret it. Or you just killed someone. You shouldn't even go that way. So if you talk about it, if you find someone that he respects, if you have evidence, maybe you caught him, talk about it. Find someone, find a mentor, find someone that he respects and begin to talk about it. Maybe you can deliver it. Maybe he can change. Maybe he will give reasons why he's doing this. And if you discover that you can no longer handle it, it is better that you step out, separate for a time being, and find a way to recover yourself. Because there are actually some men that are serial cheaters. There's nothing they can do. You cannot save them. For them, that is already how they feel that they are designed. So if you find yourself there, you have to look at, okay, Am I going to live with this? But like the woman that sent me this question that we're talking about, she said the husband loves her. She has no doubt about it. He is doing everything that is supposed to be done. Would you stay in that kind of relationship, in that kind of marriage, where your husband loves you, doing everything that you want, buying you a car, giving you money, giving you everything, but cheating? Would you accommodate it? You can put it in the comment section. Would you accommodate it? Would you accommodate such betrayal? Would that be fine? That is a question that you can answer. So many women have actually found a way, say, okay, I know he's doing this, but for the sake of my children, I will stay. How would you solve it? So I am saying, don't solve it using wickedness. Don't treat evil with evil. Don't, switch off his life, poison him, do all kind of things that even your children will be very, very bitter that you do, or maybe that at the end of the day, maybe the law will hold you. You may begin to talk, you may suffer as a result of using something bad to solve something bad. So find a way to talk about it. Look for people that he respects. Find a way to see if the man can be recovered. Because there are also some men that it's a problem that they have. Maybe with a kind of help, maybe the man can be recovered. So, in summary of all this, what I'm trying to say here is that marriage is something that you can enjoy if you are doing it with the right partner. If you are doing it with someone you trust, if you are doing it with someone you respect, it is something that is a beautiful thing. But if you eventually find yourself being married to a cheater, someone that will betray your trust, someone that will do things that is not part of the marriage covenant, it can be difficult. But there are also, finally, women that struggle with forgiveness. Maybe this man has done it. Maybe he is remorse. Maybe he regrets his action. And he's coming to you and say, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Would you forgive him if actually he loves you? If he treats you all the way that a husband's supposed to do, but he find himself in a tight corner and he did this maybe once? So you have to find out if it's just something that happened once, or maybe it's something that is a pattern, that's something that he does all the time. So all this put together, we decide if forgiveness will actually happen. Because sometimes it is very difficult for people to forgive betrayal. It's because it hurts so deeply. It hurts so bitterly. So it's actually it's completely understandable if a woman said, no, I'm not going to forgive you. But if this man is sincerely repentant, if this man is sincerely apologizing, sincerely, give yourself time. Give yourself time. Of course, forgiveness is not a one-time thing. Even though you forgive him, it might take time to rebuild trust. It might take time to rebuild trust. But what I'm saying here is that it is actually possible to recover a man who has gone wrong. It is actually possible to recover a woman who has gone wrong. But the question that brought us to today's discussion is that, is it possible for a man to love a woman so dearly and cheat? It is possible. And I have given us the kind of men that can do this. But there are also some kind of men that believe in covenant and that are spiritual, that believe that every behavior has a consequence, that know that they are not just afraid of their wife, they are also afraid that the God they believe in might not be happy with them. Because of this, they keep their words. So the question is, what kind of man are you going to be? What kind of man are you going to be? Are you going to be this kind of man who will be a pillar of the house, who will be a lover, and who will have integrity, who will be a role model for the children? Are you going to be this kind of man who say that, yeah, men are polygamous in nature, that even though they are married, they will go about sleeping around? Is that the kind of man you want to be? So this is a question, a reflection that I will leave for you. And if you are a woman and you find yourself in this kind of tight corner, in this kind of relationship, I want you to know that it's completely fine for you to feel mad. It's completely fine for you to feel betrayed. It's completely fine for you to feel bitter. But at the end of the day, don't treat evil with evil. Don't treat evil with wickedness. Find a better way to handle it so that at the end of the day, you will not regret your actions. So this is where we are going to be anchoring today's Living Answers with Beni-Udenka. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for connecting. I am seeing a lot of people here. Thank you very much. And I am always here now every Saturday. I allow my followers to send me questions, and I will come here to try to provide perspectives to this kind of question. Thank you for connecting, and I will see you next week.